Hey everyone, Mr. MCA here. This is a lap guide for the current lap time challenge taking place at Suzuka Circuit with the 2023 Super Formulas. And just to make a quick note, they both perform the same, so you get to pick whichever one sounds better, as they do sound a bit different. But this is over in sport mode, so make sure you have menu book number 9 completed to be able to access the current lap time challenges. And for this specific one, it ends on March 19, 2025. And we're on the racing soft tires with BOP turned on, so no, you cannot tune your car. Your goal is to get within the 3% time range of the world record time when the event ends, and hopefully you'll be able to get the 2 million credits. And quick note about these cars, you want to rev it out a little bit before you go up a gear, except for 5th gear, where you want to rev it out a lot more before you have to go up to 6th gear. But let's go ahead and get started with the lap guide, where when you're starting a new lap, bring yourself towards the left, as you'll get a little more distance to build up a little bit more speed and get a faster start to your new lap. For this first turn, you can go flat out and use the 50 meter board as your turning point. You're not going to brake just yet. That's going to be where the curb on the right is just about to end, which is right about here. So this is where you start to brake. So you want to use all of your braking power for a brief moment, bring yourself towards the left, then turn in where the curb on the left ends. You can go down to 3rd gear for more rotation, but exit on 4th gear. Then when the gray wall on the right starts, that is where you turn in. And for this first left turn, you can take a flat out, but then lift off with throttle for this right turn, lift off with throttle once again for this left turn, and try to stay towards the left. Before this right turn, this is where you use the curb on the right to turn in and start to ease on the brake. So using around 50% braking power for a brief moment, stay towards the right if possible, because for this left turn, you're taking it flat out. And do note that I'm going to stay on 5th gear. I'm not going to touch 6th gear until later. Now for Degener 1, turn in at the 50 meter board and do a quick lift off of throttle. You don't need to touch the brakes for this turn, but you definitely do need to touch the brakes for Degener 2. Brake before the curb on the left ends full braking power. Go down to 2nd gear for more rotation, and if possible, exit on 3rd gear and be really careful easing on the throttle. And for the hairpin, use the end of the curb on the right as your braking point. You're going to use all of your braking power and make your way down to 1st gear. So you turn in, go up to 3rd gear, start to ease on the throttle, and by the time that you're pointing towards the end of the grandstand on the other side of the track, you want to fully accelerate your way out. It is a little tricky because you can be a little aggressive here, but just be careful because the turbo can kick in, which can produce the risk of you spinning out. Stay towards the right. Here you can stay on 5th gear. Use the 50 meter board as your braking and turning point. And I'm going to go down to 4th gear and use 50% of my braking power. Then go towards the right side of the track. Brake again before the curb on the right ends. 50% braking power. Go down to 3rd gear and start to turn in. You're going to go back up to 4th gear and start to accelerate just as the curb on the left ends. And just be nice and careful easing on the throttle, as you don't want to understeer onto the turf or the grass on the right and potentially spin out. Now for this left turn, this car has so much downforce you can easily take a flat out just like that. Nice and easy, stay towards the left, and finally brake just before the 100 meter board. Use all of your braking power and you can go down to 1st gear for a bit more rotation. Now do note that I do brake just a little bit late over here, so you want to brake just a tiny bit before I do, because you want to take advantage of the red and white curbs. And as you hit the apex of this first part of the chicane, go up to 3rd gear, use a little bit of throttle control, straighten the car, and go towards the right side of the track if you know you're about to get a good lap time. But let's go through this again, but this time I'm not going to stop the video. So again, starting out my lap, I'm going to bring myself towards the left side of the track and get a slightly faster start to my new lap. And do note that I rev the heck out of 5th gear before I have to grab 6th gear, turn in at the 50-meter board, and don't brake until the curb on the right ends, down to 3rd gear for more rotation, back up to 4th gear. Lots of throttle control through the S's. You can see I'm lifting off the throttle for this right and left turn, except for this turn right here where I use a little bit of my braking power, then go flat out through here. Don't forget, these Super Formula cars have a lot of downforce, so you can carry a crazy amount of speed through them. Diagonal 1, use the 50-meter board as my turning point, brake before the curb on the left ends, exit on 3rd gear, brake when the curb on the right ends, down to 1st gear, but then exit on 3rd gear and just try to be really careful, easy on the throttle. The car just almost started stepping out right there, just barely got away with it right there. And here I just stay on 5th gear, no need to grab 6th gear, use the 50-meter board as my braking and turning point, down to 4th gear, down to 3rd gear for more rotation. When the curb on the left ends, go back up to 4th gear and accelerate your way out. For the upcoming left turn, you can take a flat out. Don't forget, this car has a lot of downforce, so this is a pretty easy turn. Stay towards the left, brake just before the 100-meter board, down to 1st gear, take advantage of the right and wide curbs, up to 3rd gear, nice and careful, easy on the throttle, and if you know you have a really good time, bring yourself towards the right side of the track to reduce the track distance. And we'll go through this one more time, but this time we'll be in bumper cam. So again, go towards the left, build up a bit more speed, get a slightly faster start to the new lap, rev the heck out of 5th gear before you have to grab 6th gear, and then turn in at the 50-meter board, brake when the curb on the right ends, down to 3rd gear for more rotation, but exit on 4th gear. Lots of throttle control through the S's, so you go flat out, lift once again, but then for this right turn you brake. You can briefly go down to 3rd gear for more rotation, but exit on 4th gear, flat out through here, and you can stay on 5th gear, no need to grab 6th gear for this section. 50-meter board is your turning point, quick lift off the throttle, down to 3rd gear, nice and careful, easy on the throttle, brake when the curb on the right ends, down to 1st gear, exit on 3rd gear, nice and easy, getting back on the throttle. You can be a little aggressive, but as you saw right there, it does get a bit risky, so you want to be careful about that. Here you can stay on 5th gear, use the 50-meter board as your braking and turning point, then use the curb on the right as your braking and turning point, exit on 4th gear, and here you will need to grab 6th gear, so rev the heck out of 5th gear, then grab 6th gear. This left turn can easily be taken flat out, so take advantage of the downforce, then brake before the 100-meter board, down to 1st gear for more rotation, but exit on 3rd gear, nice and careful, easy on the throttle, and if you have a good lap time coming up, bring yourself towards the right side of the track. And with that, I got a 135.7. I'm going to be honest, high downforce cars are definitely not my cup of tea, but hopefully this lap guide helps you out, and that is all for me. So take care everyone, this is Mr. CA, and I'll see you in the next video.